Greetings and welcome to Maple Leaf America from the All-Star festivities in St. Paul, Minnesota. Rob Simpson with you, sitting in the middle of the NHL All-Star Fantasy. It's interactive fun for kids of all ages, and I'm here. I finally found my peer group, people that I can relate to on an intellectual level. Anyway, hockey legends, hockey all-stars, hockey people from all walks of life coming up on this program. Stay tuned. From the All-Star game, it's Maple Leaf America. Hey, welcome back to Maple Leaf America. Mats Sundin. I missed you last year. I was waiting for you in Florida in this exact spot, and you had the bad ankle, shoulder deal. Shoulder. Yeah. Well, you come to Minnesota, you could have been in Florida.
I know. This is better. This is a real hockey town here.
Right. A lot of Swedes, a lot of Scandinavians in this area. Do you have any distant relatives?
I might have. I don't know. But there was over 1 million Swedes, I think, immigrated to North America in the mid-1800s.
Hey, Montreal, Toronto, I was watching the game the other night. Always a great rivalry, a lot of fun. Is there anything comparable to that in Sweden? Is there two teams that really kind of have that kind of thing?
There's a great rivalry in Stockholm, actually, with two teams there, but it's tough to beat. I think Canada brings out something special out of the hockey fans when there's two Canadian teams to play.
Work stoppage, will you be in Sweden playing hockey?
I hope there won't be any work stoppage. I hope we're all going to solve it, and we'll be a big, happy family here next fall.
Well, you've made contingencies?
What's that?
You've made contingencies?
I don't know, but we're obviously we're all hoping, and as a player and as a fan, I hope they're going to solve it.
I can't get an answer out of them. Hey, on an earlier show, Matt Martin didn't play for the Leafs very long, but he was a buddy of yours, eh?
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. He just had a baby, and he was a great player, and it's a fine line between making it and playing in the minors and not being able to play in the National Hockey League for a long period of time. So he's a great guy. Yeah, he's living up in Bangor, Maine. Yeah, I know. Enjoying the snow. Yeah, I know. Do you have any stupid human tricks? Can you pick your nose with your tongue or wiggle your ears? I can. I know how to pick my nose, but I won't do it here. I won't do it. No, not with my tongue. No, I don't have it. No, I can't do it. Backflips? No, nothing. Just checking. Okay. Hey, we're going to talk about you didn't grow up in Ontario, but we're going to talk to some of your teammates and adversaries in the All-Star game about growing up in Ontario and being a Leafs fan. Yeah, I think for me, I get to understand what it all means to grow up in Ontario. As the years gone by, I've been here 10 years now with the Maple Leafs, and to watch guys like Mats Sundin coming in and playing for the Leafs, and then the grin he's got on his face every time he comes to the rink, it's great, and I learn to respect that. All right, we'll let you go. You're probably tired of answering the same question 1,500 times. Here, let's talk to some of the other Ontario boys.
I was a diehard Leaf fan. Anybody who grows, any young Canadian hockey player growing up in the Toronto area was a Leaf fan, and I was a huge Daryl Sittler fan. I used to go down to the Gardens all the time, and it was my real first introduction to the game of hockey, and so I always have a soft spot for the Leafs. Not enough where I'll let them win, but I always have a lot of strong feelings.
As I say, this year, if they are an adversary for you down the road, you seem to have their number, at least recently.
We respect that hockey club. They're at the top of the conference for a reason. They play gritty. They play hard. They're very competitive. And because of that, we're always ready and prepared to play them. And it always ends up being great games. I know the scores haven't been as close this year, but the feeling on the ice is the games have been closer.
It was the Leafs, yeah. And Wendell Clark's my favorite player, and definitely a diehard Leaf fan growing up.
Did you have any memories of any special memories of going to the Gardens when you were a kid?
Yeah, that was the highlight of my childhood, was getting to go to Maple Leaf Gardens. I get to go 5 or 6 times, and that was always a great time for me.
You might be playing against there might be the team you have to get over the hump against come playoff time.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. I wouldn't mind beating the Leafs in the playoffs.
And giving away tickets, I'm sure you have a long line of requests.
It might get expensive, yeah, but that's all right. It'd be well worth it.
I was probably more of a Habs fan. Yeah, I grew up as a French kid, so the Habs were the team that we watched on CBC. To be honest, I wasn't like a really Habs fan, Leaf hater. I like every team, but we watched the Habs. I loved Larry Robinson and Guy Lafleur. I thought they were just fun to watch, so it made it interesting.
You're not just saying that to be nice, are you?
No. Honestly, I wasn't a diehard fan of any hockey team back then, but it was I just remember Guy Lafleur skating, and I don't know if it was his hair flowing or something like that. That it was really pretty to watch, and Larry Robinson just seemed to be the tallest guy on the ice who never made a mistake, and that was what I thought was good.
I was a diehard Leaf fan for sure.
Favorite guys, why, all that good stuff?
I say Mats Sundin. I always loved Sundin. Gilmore was the 92-93 playoffs, or 94, I guess. Big Potvin fan. So I've always loved the Leafs, but it kind of turning away from them now.
Well, I hope so. I was going to say, and Sundin, he's here. You can maybe throw a little elbow at him when you're going by or something.
Yeah, I might have to. But
have you run into him at all during the?
No, I haven't. No.
You guys, let's see, different concerts. Do you play him once, twice, 3 times?
Yeah, once a year. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
That's lame.
That is. You're right.
Yeah, they're our team. Leafs and Buffalo, they're so close. They're an hour and a half apart. So both teams were our local teams, and that's who we cheered and followed.
Favorite guys, any goalies when you were a kid?
Alan Besser was my favorite Leaf guy, and then obviously Tommy Barrasso in Buffalo.
Bester, a little guy with a quick glove.
Yeah, exactly. Very flashy, very flamboyant.
I wasn't a Leafs fan growing up. Sorry, buddy.
What were you?
I grew up in the middle of parts unknown, and I was actually an Islander fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because of the cups and all that?
I must have been. I was young.
Young and stupid, I'm telling you.
You know what I liked? I was a big Mike Bossy fan. Loved watching him come down the wing and take the big bomb.
Any D-men that you really kind of?
After that, I liked Ray Bourque and Al McGinnis.
Scheduling-wise, kind of stinks. You don't get to see the Eastern Conference much. I mean, it's some of those original 6 clubs, which would be kind of fun.
We only play a lot of them. We only play once. Either in our building or their building. So
I imagine it's always nice to get back to play when you go back to Ontario.
It is. It's always nice to go to Toronto and dole out some tickets and try to find some tickets. Actually, try to find enough tickets to go around, but it's fun.
Hey, nice too. You got the wavy coif.
I'm trying to match you.
My grandpa was a Maple Leaf fan. He was an old Hamilton Tiger Cat football player, and he just loved the Leafs. And I secretly liked individuals. I'd never tell them, individuals from other teams, but at least we're pretty much my team, even though Hamilton hated Toronto in many other ways, But so I liked Belleville when I was a kid growing up. I liked Moose Vasco, and they were the individuals that I liked, but it was the Toronto Maple Leafs. Teeter Kennedy, I remember listening to the radio and listening to him, and Foster loved him as a player, and so did the fans. So he was one of my favorites as well.
All the talk, especially in Toronto, about changing the game this way, changing the game that way. If you had to choose one thing or not have anything changed at all, what would be your number one priority?
Well,
all these improvements we keep hearing about.
I don't know if they're improvements. That's the point. They are theories of people that, the mandate has been let's find ways to create some space and get more offensive parts to the game. And the big thing is we keep saying we're going to knock down on the hooking and holding away from the game, but now we're allowing it. It's like tackle in the offensive zone. We allow that all the time. And if you want to get some speed and movement in the game, don't allow people to pull people down. And we've never stopped that. You can make the ice surface bigger. I don't think that's going to change anything. You can say, the 1-2-2 or the trap has got to go. The trap's been around, or the 1-2-2's been around since I played in the 60s. So it's not system. It's what we need to do away from the puck with interference and holding and grappling and tackling, and let these good players, if they're trying to get their room. A lot of them don't even try and get their room anymore. But if they're trying to get their room to play, then let them have it.
We're doing a little shtick on Bettman. What do you think, generally speaking, of the Bettman regime and the NHL out of New York?
Yeah, well, you got to stick somewhere else with that question.
The following does not reflect reality.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to St. Paul and the 2004 All-Star Weekend. As you all know, this is the point in the season that we all look forward to when the entire NHL family comes together to celebrate the game and to put itself on display to a worldwide audience. It's also a moment of particular pride this year for Minnesota, where there is so much passion for hockey at every level, and where the connection between the Wild and the community serves as a model for the entire sports world. And I assume that some of you may have a question or two.
If you're meeting with the union, who decides who brings the coffee and donuts, and who decides what you bring if you're the guys that have to decide to bring the coffee and donuts? Do you bring bear claws, glazed donuts, Boston creams, or cannolis? And who decides who decides who decides?
We're going to talk about everything.
Oh, Mr. Simpson. If you were to drop the gloves with Bob Goodnow, would he kick your butt?
The short answer to your question is yes.
Mr. Fantastic.
In terms of improvements to the game, I was wondering about maybe putting a turquoise jersey on each team's leading scorer, and when a team scores a goal, we throw carnations. What's he looking at?
The short answer to your question is yes.
Is it true that global warming can affect one's ability?
Answer to ask a question?
No. Is it true that global warming can affect one's ability to complete sentences?
I fear more for the future if we continue the way we are than anything else that might happen to fix the problems.
You in the back.
Is it true that when you're done milking the NHL for huge salaries that you'll jump back to the NBA, your first love, and take David Stern's spot when he retires?
The short answer to your question is...
Hey, knock it off. It's not funny. A little more respect, okay? Please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hockey. Sir. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Carvin Chung from San Diego, California. I currently work for Upper Deck, and I'm originally from Mississauga, Ontario. My favorite all-time Leaf is Dave Keon. I want to say hi to my mom, my dad, and my sister.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf America, about 3 hours north of the Twin Cities here in Eveleth, Minnesota, with Tom Sersha, the director of the United States Hockey Hall of Fame. How you doing?
Just fine, thank you. What a great day here. This is a great winter day in northern Minnesota. Great day for hockey.
It's perfect. That's why we're out here right now instead of in the warm, cozy museum. Now, why Eveleth? Why is this the home of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame?
Well, that's the most often asked question about our facility. The United States Hockey Hall of Fame is located here in Eveleth because there is no American town the size of Eveleth that has produced as many quality players that has come out of Eveleth. I mean, we go back to the 1930s when we had great guys playing in the National Hockey League when only 1% of the players were American. Back in the old days, we had guys like Frankie Bribsic, Mr. Zero Man for Boston, who in his 1933 ninth year there, I should say in those years, he was a Rookie of the Year, won a Vezina Trophy, Calder Cup, and they also won a Stanley Cup. We also had a guy playing for the Chicago Blackhawks, Mike Crocus, Sam Lepresti. So the names keep coming out of Eveleth, and they are legendary.
What about modern guys, more recent, that have come from this general area?
Well, of course, how can we forget that great victory in 1980 when the United States defeated the big powerhouse, the Russians? And on that team, we had Mark Pavlich, and he is from Eveleth. And the executive director of United States Hockey was a great hockey player, played high school hockey, college hockey at Colorado College, and he also played pro hockey, but Doug Palazzari. And we can't forget one of the big names out of Eveleth, one of the best amateur hockey players in the United States, who was on the 1960 Olympic team, the great Johnny Masich.
Now, Tom, we got some fresh powder flying.
Super.
It's the wind chill's dropping very quickly. It's a perfect day to play a little outdoor hockey, maybe do some snowmobiling or something. Folks up in Canada, this is basically just a continuation of Canada, or
there's no doubt about it.
Or Canada's a continuation of Minnesota.
Well,
whatever you like to say here.
Yes. We're only 100 miles from the Canadian borders. You can see we probably fly the Canadian flag in front of the United States Hockey Hall of Fame too. That's because we have so much respect for the origins of hockey coming out of the great country of Canada. But in this neck of the woods here up in northern Minnesota, definitely, I mean, it's hockey and it's skiing and it's outdoor recreation. And as we all know that back in the early days, that's where they played hockey, just like in Canada, on the frozen ponds and outdoor rinks. And we still have the outdoor rinks here, but naturally, you know, it's great to have the comfort of playing indoors. But this is a great outdoor recreational area and truly a hotbed of American hockey.
Now, also down the street, arguably the largest hockey stick in the world, but we're not quite sure. We definitely got to go over there and take a look at it.
Well, you certainly do it. And it's 107 feet long, weighs 5 tons, and of course along with the stick is we have a puck. The puck is 5 feet in thickness and 20 feet wide, and that weighs 700 pounds. So I think in combination, I think we've got the world's largest stick and puck together.
Quickly, back to the museum. Tom accidentally forgot to mention John P. Mariucci, the father of hockey in Minnesota. The former Chicago Blackhawk has the University of Minnesota rink named after him. And how about this? Of the 14 Americans in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, 2 of them, Brimsek and Mariucci, are from the town of Eveleth. Any hockey fan, American or Canadian, would enjoy an educational visit to this museum and this charming town. Now, back to the stick. The original was built by Christian Brothers hockey sticks. It had to be replaced by the current version. The new one cost $60,000 US, is 110 feet long, and weighs 5 tons. The big problem, neither version of this American world's largest hockey stick is as large as the one in Duncan, British Columbia. It's almost 100 feet longer and weighs 6 times more than the American stick. Oh, what a delightful community this is, Eveleth, Minnesota. But you knew it would be, because it's a hockey town. Maple Leaf America has uncovered a bit of a controversy, however. We know that the world's largest hockey stick is in British Columbia, but it has steel in it. And the folks here in Eveleth say the biggest real hockey stick made of wood is right here. The original one was definitely all wood, because it eventually disintegrated because of the sun and the winter weather and all that good stuff. They replaced it 2 years ago with this one. Now, is this all wood? That's the controversy. Tom at the museum said, oh, he thinks there's steel in here. Folks in the neighborhood, Margie's, they say it's all wood. The Iron Trail Convention Center, they say it's all wood. Who knows? It doesn't necessarily feel like all wood, especially on the shaft, but we've got 2 world's largest hockey sticks, one in Canada and one in the U.S. We're heading right back down the road to the Twin Cities to continue our All-Star coverage, our All-Star festivities, and we'll have that for you when we come back.
Hi, I'm Chris Riley from Newmarket, Ontario. My favorite Leaf of all time is Mike Palmetier, and I'd like to say hi to Tammy, Anna, and Lori.
Hi, I'm Jamie from the Iron Range of Minnesota. Did you see the patch? You just missed it. It was on 10 seconds ago. Stay tuned.
Back on Maple Leaf America, game's over.
Nice slapper, Gary.
Well, I slapper from pretty and tight, actually, yeah. So it was rolling like usual. When Sundin is part of the play, I always kid around with him. But it was fun just to score tonight, and it was fun to be out there.
I just saw you answer the same question 100 times, and you did that ahead of time before the game with the media day. Does it drive you nuts after a while?
Oh, yeah, it drives you nuts, but that's okay. That's what it's all about. It's been a real fun weekend, and hopefully get back and start winning some hockey games.
Turn our attention to winning a cup.
Absolutely, that'd be a lot of fun.
You're going to love this. We've got some media. Thank you. We've got some media types. They're going to predict whether or not the Leafs are going to win the cup. This ought to be good. I want to ask you what the odds of the Leafs winning the cup.
The odds or percentage?
Odds.
I'm better on percentage.
Well, not numbers, just the odds. Generally speaking, odds as a general term, not numerically.
Like a word meaning good, not good, bad, bad. I would of them winning the cup.
Winning the cup.
I would say they're realistic.
Realistic.
Is that a good word?
Realistic.
I think they're one of 4 teams that will win the East.
All right, give me the other 3.
Have the best chance. I think the Ottawa has the best chance to win the East.
All right.
Then the Flyers.
I love that.
Then the Flyers after they trade for Sean Burke.
You're scoring brownie points back in Toronto.
All right. And the Devils.
Odds of the Leafs winning the cup, not numerically, just
So-so, not that great, but they got a shot.
What's the problem?
It's tough for anybody to win the cup. I think their defense needs a bit of an upgrade before they can go. But if you get to the semis, you get a really good shot. But I think they got to get there first. First couple rounds, the dangerous ones.
Are you sticking with your preseason pick to win it all?
Yes, that was Ottawa. Yeah. It was the Hockey News' pick, and it was my pick as well. So I still think they'll do it.
And what Brender says, Hockey News goes with it, right?
Well, at times, we try.
You're a big shooter.
We try.
You're the man.
Not that much of a man. Little man.
There, that's better.
Panger, look at Panger.
Now I'm tall.
Stepping up.
See that?
Look at him. All right, give me the odds of the Leafs winning the cup. Not numerical, just general.
Because numerically I'm not that sharp. You know that,
I didn't want to challenge you.
It's the Battle of Ontario. It's the greatest rivalry we have in the NHL right now. And I grew up in Ottawa, so when you grew up in Ottawa, you were a Montreal Canadiens fan or a Maple Leafs fan. And now you've got Toronto and Ottawa, and every time they're on TV, even though I live in the States, I've got the direct TV package, I can't wait to watch the series. So now, The passion of the Toronto Maple Leafs is what drives them. That's what gets them over the top. And I would say that the odds of them getting into the Stanley Cup Finals this year are very, very good. Very good. Because of the depth that they have, they could probably add something more on the blue line to help them out. All great teams in this playoff stretch use the recipe of the Detroit Red Wings. They've always added somebody, like just a veteran kind of stabilizer back there for whether it be support or whether injuries happen. So that would be big. But Eddie Belfour can beat any goaltender in the Eastern Conference.
Panger, get a haircut. It's getting a little long on top.
I just did. I trimmed her up. You believe they charge $14 for that?
Talking about the Leafs potentially winning the Cup, getting some opinions, and we'll get one here from Hall of Fame netminder Johnny Bauer. What do you think of this year's Leafs club? What are their chances?
I think it's very, very good. I mean, they've bearing the injuries and all that. I think they're going to go all the way. But right now, we've got a lot of kids down in the minors, and Pat Quinn's bringing them up and giving them an opportunity, a chance, and they prove that they're ready to step in. And this is, I would think, a big factor why we're winning. And of course, number one, Belfour is playing really well for us, and he's hurt right now, I guess. But no, the chances are very, very good.
You were in 4 All-Star games. Was the format all the same in the 4, like champion against All-Stars, or how was it in the ones you played in, and how were the games?
There was the games were just fantastic, particularly because the rivalry was always between Montreal and Toronto, eh? Yeah. And we wanted to beat Montreal, and of course they wanted to beat us too as well. But we had some good success against them, and the rivalries, I said, it was just unbelievable, and it was great hockey. I mean, the scores weren't high or anything like that, and of course Montreal had a very good offensive hockey club, but we more or less concentrated on defensive, and but I had a good defense in front of me, and my teammates, and that'll give me a lot of work.
They took the All-Star games a little more seriously back then. Gordie Howe told us a couple of years ago he actually got in a fight in his first All-Star game. It was a little different animal.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once in a while they get a little hot-headed on the ice and all that, and but I think you know that's what we're out there for, is to play hockey, and it just depends who the players are too. And I think the people like to see good, clean hockey, like they'll probably see maybe tomorrow afternoon here.
Who's your number one nemesis over the years?
Montreal Canadiens, definitely.
One guy.
No, the Rocket Richard.
Rocket.
Yeah, he was one. Of course, there's a lot of guys. You know, I can't forget Gordie Howe and Bobby Hull and Dennis Hull, and I like playing against Dennis because when he shot the puck, he didn't know it was going. I didn't know it was going, so but he was okay. But Montreal is one, and the Rocket is just unbelievable. I used to go to church and light candles and everything else, and he still could score a couple of goals on me. So.
Hey, we appreciate you popping by here and helping us close out the show. A distinct pleasure, and we wish you the best.
I thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Take care.
Okay, thank you.
See you next week on Maple Leaf America from the Bean Pot in Boston. A two-parter coming up on Maple Leaf America. See you next week.